Hey friends, DJ here with HomeGrown Ministries. I'm going to be giving you a off-the-cuff, unscripted message today, so hopefully you find value in it. It's been something that's been weighing on my heart all day long, so I'm not sure if it's a message from God or if it's just me obsessing over a particular topic, but I feel like this is something I have to put on video and something that hopefully will help you today. So I was recently talking with one of my friends about how, sometimes he gets discouraged because he feels like, based on his past, he can't do good for God today. All of us have done bad things in our past, myself included. I am super far from perfect. I used to get in fights with people. I still have a problem with swearing. I'm not the best father by any means. I yell at my kids when I'm stressed out or emotional. I am not a perfect person today, and I claim to be a Christian. And I definitely wasn't a perfect person in the past when I believed an incorrect gospel. I made God to be the person that I wanted him to be. He was soft and fuzzy and didn't care if I sinned or fought with people or talked poorly about people or slandered people or lied or any of those other things. I used to do all those things. And because I lived my life a certain way for so long, I still struggle with those sins today. So the question is, because my life was a mess and because I'm still a broken person, should I not do anything for God? And I think that that's the devil talking to you. The devil whispers in your ear, Satan whispers in your ear and reminds you of the wrongs that you have done in your life. Whether it's through, your own conscience or through other people around you. As you proclaim the good news, they stand on the sidelines and say, hey, isn't that person who used to get into fights? Isn't that the person who used to be a drunk? Isn't that the person who used to lie, cheat, and steal? And maybe all those things pertain to you. The majority of them pertain to me, but that was in the past. That was before I became redeemed. And I still struggle with some of those things, but here's the encouraging thing. When you start to question whether or not you can do good for God based on your past and based on being a broken person, here are some of the examples of the people that God has used in the Bible. So let's start with Noah. Noah was a drunk. Let's go on to Joseph. Joseph was full of pride. He was super prideful, and that's why his brothers hated him. Look at Jacob. Jacob was a con artist. He did all kinds of bad things to get what he wanted. Then we look at Moses. Moses, who led the Israelites out of Egypt, he killed someone. He killed an Egyptian in cold blood. Peter, in the New Testament, he has a quick temper. He also cuts off the high priest servant's ear when they come to arrest Jesus. James and John were called the sons of thunder, so that should tell you something about their personalities. And last, Paul persecuted Christians when he was Saul, before he became called, before Christ called him. So all of these people that we see, and that's just a small sample of those that we read about in the Old and New Testament, they're broken people. You want to know why? Because they're real people. None of us are good. No one is perfect. So can God use you even though you've messed up? Sure. Can God use you even though you're not a perfect person today? Definitely. Because it is God acting through you. And even though you've made mistakes, and even though you will continue to make mistakes, God can still work through you and will work through you so long as you are available to have that happen. You know what the qualification is for doing great things for God? It's not a degree. It's not education. It's not even so much experience. It's willingness. We all have a sphere of influence. And God doesn't say, "Much done, my good and faithful servant." What we're waiting to hear for is, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." So whether that's the influence you have over one person or the influence you have over many people, whether it's your children or your spouse, people who are very close to you, or if you're going all the way out to preaching in the streets and talking to people you don't know. We are all part of a body and we all have our own special gifts, and God is calling you to use those in a unique way to reach the people around you. It's not about numbers. It's not about quantity. It's about quality interactions. And all you have to do great work for God is to be available and be willing. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past, because God has forgiven you. That's the good news. If you believe in Jesus Christ, if you believe that He died for you, all of your wrongdoings are forgiven. And if He forgave you, if God, the creator of the whole universe, forgave you, who are you to not forgive yourself? So move on from that And regardless of what people say about your past, do what God is calling you to do, because that is our higher purpose. It doesn't matter what you've done before. It matters what you will do starting today for God and what you'll do in the future for God. Because a little with God, just a little bit with God, can do outstanding things. And you will receive blessing if you stay in the will of God. It might not be earthly blessing, but one day, when you come to the end of your age here on earth and pass on into the next life, if you've done work for God, He will say to you, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." So finish the race strong. Guys, I hope this message encourages you today. And Christian friends, as always, please continue to be the salt to the earth, be the light to the world, and go encourage somebody else today, because the world desperately, desperately needs it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!